Level by Unacademy. We are going to cover question number 23, question number 30 of time, speed and distance topic in this video. We have already covered 22 questions. Let's start with question number 20. It says that what would be the length of a race if two sprinters, the speed of 40 meters per second and 50 meters per second, reach the end point simultaneously, even though the slower one had a head start of 15. So there is a race and we do not know the length of the race. Let's say this is the starting point of the race and let's say this is the ending point of the race. Two sprinters, let's say S1 and S2 are running this race. The speed of sprinter 1 is 40 meters per second. Speed of sprinter 2 is 50 meters per second. Now both of these two are reaching the end point simultaneously, but the slower one had a head start of 15 minutes. The slower one had a head start of 15 minutes. That means the slower one started running the race 15 minutes before the sprinter 2. But you see that both sprinter 1 and sprinter 2 are running the constant distance. So you can straight away apply this concept. If I say distance is constant, speed and time will be inversely proportional to each other. Right? So the sprinter 1 and sprinter 2 speed of both of these two sprinters are given to me as 40 meters per second and 50 meters per second. Can I find out the ratio of the speed? Yes. Speed ratio would be how much? It would be 4:5, right? Quite easy. Now, what will be the time ratio? Time, as we know, is inversely proportional to speed. The time ratio would be inverse of this speed, right? See this here, the time gap between sprinter 1 and the sprinter 2 is of 1 minute. But I want this gap to be of 15 minutes because sprinter 1 started running the race 15 minutes before the sprinter 2. If I want this gap to be of 15 minutes, which is 15 times, sprinter 1 will be doing the whole distance in 75 minutes. Sprinter 2 will be doing the whole distance in 60 minutes. Now, at a speed of 40 meters per second, which can be converted into kilometer per hour by multiplying it by 18. Meter per second will finally become kilometer per hour. And in 75 minutes, the whole distance is traveled. Minute can be converted by dividing it by 60. This is 75 by 60. R and R will get cancelled. So you can get the length of the race from this point. This will get cancelled on 15. This cancel it 4. This cancel it on 10. 18 into 10, that is 180 kilometer. And this would be the correct answer to the question, which is option number C. Moving on to question number 24. The ship leaves on a long voyage. When it is 18 miles from the shore, seaplane whose speed is 10 times that of ship is went to deliver the mail. How far from the shore does the seaplane catch up with the ship? See this, guys. Let's say that let's say this is the seashore, right? This is the shore. Now, right, ship is already at a distance of 18 miles from the shore, right? The distance between the shore and the ship is of 18. Now, when the ship is 18 miles away from the shore, from this point, a seaplane started moving towards the ship, deliver a mail. And we are supposed to find out how far from the shore does the seaplane catch up with the ship. That means we are supposed to find out this distance where seaplane and ship are at the same point. Now you see that the speed of the ship is how much? The speed of the seaplane is 9 times of the speed of the ship. It's given, right? So it's 10 times the speed of the ship. That means if I'm saying that speed of the ship is, let's say, v meter per second, then the speed of the seaplane would be 10 v meter per second. It's 10 times. Now you see that the speed ratio between seaplane and ship is of 10 ratio. That's the speed ratio. Now, because from this point onward, when the ship is 18 miles from the shore, when the ship is 18 miles from the shore, from this point onward, the time to reach at this point for seaplane as well as ship, right? This point, this is just a parallel line that I have drawn. So this is the point where seaplane and ship will be together, right? So this is the distance traveled by the ship in this duration, and this is the distance traveled by the seaplane catch up with the ship. Now, but at this point, seaplane and ship are at same point. The time of traveling after 18 mile for ship and seaplane is same. So guys, if I say that time is constant, can I say distance and speed ratio would be same? Right? They are directly proportional to each other. The speed ratio is 10 ratio 1. Can I say distance ratio will also be 10 ratio 1? That means by the time seaplane cover a distance of 10, ship will cover a distance of 1. So the gap between these two is 9 mile. I want this gap to get covered by 18 mile. So this is twice of it. So that means seaplane will be covering a distance of 20 mile, and by that time ship will be covering a distance of 2 mile. So when ship will be covering 2 mile, seaplane would have covered 20 miles. So both of them will reach at the same point. So how far from the shore does a seaplane catch up with the ship? Answer would be fourth option, that is 20. Now question number 25 says, if you require 20 minutes to walk around the park along the pavement the first time and 18 minutes to run around the park for the second time, what is your speed in kilometer per hour for the entire run? So basically here we are supposed to find out the speed in kilometer per hour for the entire run. We are supposed to find out the average speed, right? See that average speed is basically equal to total distance traveled. Total distance traveled divided by total time taken. Now you see that in the entire and the total distance travel is 3 plus 3, that is 6, right? And for the first 3 kilometer time is 12 minutes, and then it is 18 minutes. So total it is 6 kilometer traveled in 30 minutes. Minute can be converted to hour by dividing by 60, right? So the overall speed would be uh, 6 into 2, that is 12 kilometer per hour. So overall speed will be 12 kilometer per hour. B is the correct answer. Question number 26, it says that A is twice as fast as B. Right? The speed of A is twice as fast as B. That means the ratio of the speed of A and B is 2 upon 1. B is thrice as fast as C. That means the ratio of the speed of B and C is 3 upon 1. B take 20 minutes to cover the entire distance. Find the difference in time taken by A and C to cover the same distance. So guys, that's the speed ratio. A ratio B given to me as 2 ratio 1 and B ratio C is given to me as 3 ratio 1. The first thing that you need to do is to combine these ratios, right? You first need to find out the combined ratio of AC speed, which we have learned in ratios chapter. ABC ratio would be 6 ratio B ratio 1. That's the speed ratio, right? So therefore, if the distance is constant, can I say time ratio would be inverse of speed ratio, right? Speed is inversely proportional to time when distance is constant. So time ratio would be inverse of speed. That means it would be 1 upon 6, 1 upon 3, 1 upon 1, which can be converted into the integral form by multiplying it with a number which is a multiple of 6 and 3. Let's take it as 18. If I multiply the entire ratio by 18, I'll get the integral ratio. This would be 3 ratio 6 ratio 18, which is, you can see that is 1 ratio 2 ratio, right? So 1 ratio 2 ratio 6, 1 ratio 2 ratio 6, right? Now that's a time ratio, right? That means if A take 1 minute to travel the distance, B will be taking 2 minutes to travel the distance, C will be taking 6 minutes. Now the question says B is taking 20 minutes. If B is taking 20 minutes, which is 10 times of it, A will be taking 10 minutes and C will be taking 60 minutes. difference in the time taken by A and C will be equal to 50 minutes, as you can see here. So the answer to the question is option number C. Difference in time taken by A and C would be equal to 50 minutes. Question number 27. If you cross a 540-meter long foot over a bridge in 6 minutes, determine your speed. Quite an easy question, right? 540-meter long foot over a bridge. This is the length. And this whole distance is traveled in 6 minutes. We are supposed to find out the speed in kilometer per hour. A distance of 540 in 6 minutes has been traveled. So speed would be distance upon time, right? 6 minutes can be converted into second by multiplying it with 60, right? So this will be 9 upon 6, right? 9 upon 6 meter per second, which is 3 upon 2 meter per second. Now we know that 1 meter per second, right? In the first session we did 1 meter per second is 18 by 5 kilometer per hour. So you can simply multiply it by 8 by 5. That is 27 upon 5. Right. Which is 5.4 kilometer per hour. Let's check the calculation again. 540-meter distance is traveled in 6 minutes. Minute is converted to second by multiplying 60. 60 by 40. 6 into 9 is 54. 2 meter per second. 3 by 2 meter per second. 1 meter per second is equal to 18 by 5. 2, 9, 27 by 5. Answer has to be 5.4 kilometer per hour, which is not given the question. This must be a typing mistake, right? Answer would be 5.4. Would be the, let's keep it as 5.4. This has to be the correct answer, right? Moving on to the next question, question number 28 here. Speed of your electric push bike increases by 2 km per hour after 1 hour on its start. If the distance you went in the first hour was 35, what was the total distance you shrouded in 12 hours? So in the first hour, the distance traveled is, the speed is 35 km per hour, right? So in the first hour, you will be traveling a distance of 35, right? That's the distance traveled in first hour. In second hour, the speed get increased by 2. So in the second hour, the distance traveled will be 37. So in third hour, it would be 39. And this will keep on going. So finally, in the 12th hour, the distance traveled would be 35 plus 11 into 2. Because now the speed would get increased by 22. In the first hour, it was 35 plus 0. In the second hour, it was 35 plus 2. In the third hour, it was 35 plus 4. So in the 12th hour, it would be 35 plus 11, that is 22. So with 35 plus 22, that would be 57 kilometers. I just need to do the summation of it. How do you do the summation of it? You can first find out the average of this term. What is the average of this term? Average of terms where the consecutive term are at same difference. As you can see, all of these values are at a difference of 2. So average would be first term plus last term divided by 2, which is 92 upon 2, that is 46. Now the number of terms, you can see that number of terms are equal to 12. So if I want to find out the total of it, it will be average multiplied by total number of terms, that is 12. 12 into 6, 72. 48 plus 7, 552 kilometer. C would be the correct answer to the question. Question number 29. The maximum speed that I can travel is 2.5 times of my average speed, was the maximum percentage of time I can save while returning from the office. So guys, if I'm saying that my speed is V, then the maximum speed, if I say this is my normal speed, then the maximum speed at which I can travel is 2.5 times of this, which is 2.5 times of V. So you can see that speed ratio, you can see here, would be equal to 10 ratio 25. This decimal can be removed. This is 2 ratio 5. The speed ratio is 2 ratio 5. Then to travel the same distance, time ratio can be 5 ratio 2. That means if I'm traveling the distance in 5 minutes at my normal speed, then If I increase my speed to 2.5 times of my normal speed, then that same distance will be traveled in 2 minutes. So in this process, you can see that maximum I can save 3 minutes out of every 5 minutes, which is in terms of percentage is equal to 60%. The maximum percentage of time I can save is 60%. C is the correct answer. 30 number question. A 120-meter long train traveling at 40 km per hour crosses a tunnel in 30 seconds. So guys, let's say this is the length of the train, right? This is the length of the and the length of the train is given to you as 120 meters. Let's say that this is the tunnel. This is the tunnel. Now this is the tunnel that train need to cross. When the train will be crossing the tunnel, this has to be the position of the train, and the train will reach at this point. Right? When the rear end of the train crosses the tunnel, in that moment you can say train has crosses the tunnel. So from this point to this point, train has traveled the total distance of its own length plus the length of the tunnel. So total distance traveled by the train to cross the tunnel will be the length of the train 120 plus length of the tunnel, let's say, is equal to this. This is the total distance traveled. And this is traveled at a speed of 40 kilometer per hour in 30 seconds. Kilometer per hour can be converted into meter per second by multiplying it by 5 by 18. Because time is given to us in seconds, so it's compulsory for you to convert it into second. Now this is 6 into 6 into 5. This is 5 into 5, 25 into 4. It's 500 upon. That means the total distance traveled by the train is 120 plus x, which is equal to 500 by 3, which on solving you get it as 40 kilometer per hour, 5 by 18 meter per second, right? And the time taken is 30 seconds. 6 into 3, 6 into 5, or 5 into 5, 25. 25 into 4 is 1000. Sorry. Right, this would be 1000 upon 3. The total distance traveled, as you can see, is 30 point, right? This is the total distance traveled. So therefore, the length of the tunnel would be 33.33 minus 1, right? This will be 213.3. So this is the approximate length of the train, which is close to 214. So A option would be the correct answer. So guys, we have covered all 30 questions of C. I hope these questions must have get you understand the basics of time, speed, and distance. These questions are quite excellent to understand the basics of time, speed, and distance. Thank you so much for watching the video, and see you in the next set of the videos. Thank you.